Hey there, this is R.I. Menard, Mitriya, Sit With Me Saturday, and I'm coming to you today from Starbucks, and you can spend some time with me today. Got a janky phone stand, that's why I'm a little bit late. Appreciate you having a few minutes to sit with me here on Saturday, or whenever it is you're watching this video, I guess, if you're not seeing it live. Topic today, graveyard meditation. I thought I'd run you through some of that, what it would be like. Well, maybe not as much what it will be like as how it's done, how it's covered. Uh, we are talking from a particular Sutta in MN. I think it's 10, I think we're on, where it also covers graveyard meditation in the middle of it. And what I'm going through is more detailed than what it's going through. So, feel free to take a look in on that, what is written there. And I'm going to go ahead and cover more than that. If there's any detail that's in there that you don't think is in one I cover, I'd be surprised uh, because it's not very detailed in there. Um, there are other places where it is more detailed, and with a lot of these sutta, what you find is that something that they cover in not a lot of detail in one sutta is something there's multiple details covered in multiple sutta where they may not go into much of it, but put all together, it's a heck of a lot of detail. Or there's a sutta that has a lot of the detail, and so in this sutta, when Buddha's covering it, he's not getting a great detail because he has another whole talk about whatever section of this one talk he's doing. So we find that some of the talks of Buddha have, and this is a little crooked, janky phone stand. That's why I'm a little late, because I tried to take off my sling and ball it up and put the phone up against it, and none of that worked. And I wasn't going to use my robe and sit here without my robe on the whole time, and not only because I'm lacking in official capacity, even though we're just kind of hanging out on Saturday here, but also practically. It's just going to be chilly in a minute here. So I went to the RV and I fished around. I got my janky phone stand. It's not very good and it falls down sometimes, but it is what it is. It's also hard as the dickens to get put together. We got Krishnadu, and we got Dylan. So far, I just got started, so it would be Saturday. I appreciate you guys being here to have a seat with me a little bit here. Today is the meditation on the graveyard meditation. And so it's an impermanence meditation, and it's pretty extreme. To do it properly, you have to have the physical components, the visual components, the auditory components, the sensory, the smell, if there's such a thing, the feel of the energy in the air. I would do double hand quotes, but only one of my hands works. Anyway, um, it's an impermanence meditation, and to do it fully or properly, I guess maybe you would call it, maybe you wouldn't call it properly, fully. Let's say fully. You have to be in contact with some dead bodies. You have to be around them for the graveyard meditation. Seems to make sense, right? Um, in the United States, it could be a little difficult. You can call around to some local colleges and find out where they're doing such research, where they have special places where they lay out dead bodies and they research the decomposition and different things about the decomposition, fungus, insects, things that happen. Um, and you can, often go to one of those places and check it out. They let you. And so you'd have access to dead bodies. There's also some um, some coroners, some what do you call that? Funeral home places, where they'll let you come in and assist them in doing like embalmings or whatever. And, of course, you're free to sit there with the bodies for a while if you like, that kind of thing. Um, Pardon. Normally I say, that's great, but this is a pistachio latte, and it's not so great, I don't think. Coughing, I guess, somewhat great. Starbucks. What is their tagline again? Something about doing something personal one cup at a time, something. Dalen. Yeah. I think normally I do pronounce it Dalen, and I think this time I messed it up. I apologize. I read a lot of stuff in a number of languages, and not so much read as see some stuff and try to make sense of it and pronounce it. We'll say that at least. One of the things being Sanskrit, and I still, after all these years of trying to translate things, I'm still not that good at it. I admit it. That doesn't mean that my finished products are not good, because I do the time. I do the work that I can do. I look at the latest best translators, see what they have to say about these words, and I look at the classical use, because the people that wrote the Pali Canon, of course, were classically trained. You know, so classical meanings of words, that's what they used. And you can see, it's interesting linguistically, if you track the use of the words and the way they've been translated, uh, you can see that there's consistent language used, and where there's inconsistent language used, you can see that maybe that was stuff that wasn't quite written correctly, or wasn't written by the same authors, and you, maybe they had a different mindset. Maybe they saw these things differently. And I'm not saying bad, not saying good, just saying. Super saying even. Uh, so the graveyard meditation. I'll try to stay on the topic, but you're just sitting here with me Saturday. We're just shooting the shit, and I'm just sharing with you what I have. Uh, have I done graveyard meditation? Yeah, yeah. Uh, I wouldn't be suggesting it to you unless I had, and I don't suggest it for everybody. If you have some known mental health issues, clinically diagnosed anxiety, or fears of death, or graveyards, or fear of ghosts, or whatever associated, uh, no, you wouldn't want to do that. Oh, there's a cute doggy. Anyway, looking a little ADD, huh? So it's not just for everybody. And I think you should have some meditation experience under your belt and some successes before you should be doing things that are involved or known to be a higher difficulty in whatever way. I think I'm probably making sense. I mean, uh, let's say, you were learning how to make chairs. And, the first chairs you should try to learn to make are probably not fancy hand carved wooden, intricate French chairs. It's probably not your thing, covered in gold and everything. Probably not. Probably just start with some wicker chairs or some cheap wood chairs. I'm not a chair maker, and I don't have a lot to say about that. I apologize for even suggesting a proper way to start to learn chairs, but it seems to me from the outside that that will be the case. In any way, I'm trying to convey that you would start simpler and get more complex as you go, getting experience, getting skill, like anything else you would do, meditation, right? So people are like, oh, I meditated for 10 minutes a day for a week and I don't think anything's happening. Okay. Well, I don't know. You know how to drive a car. Okay. Well, did you drive a car for a week and decide that's all you were going to get out of it? I mean, with a car, I'm sure you had some success, but you, I'm sure you didn't have a great amount of success in your first week. I'm sure there's other things where you didn't get any success in a week, but you still kept doing it. Some people go and they play darts at the bar. You know, one week of playing darts, was that the thing? Did you think you could hang with everybody after that? No. And some people didn't see any, results in a week that they could point to. And then they kept doing it. They got better, of course. How much better? I don't know. Maybe not a lot, but yeah. So with the graveyard meditation, coming back to it again. Let's take another swing here. I don't have forever in my phone here. I mean, I think I started out at 38%, so it's probably going to go down fairly fast with the live streaming to the internet. I guess I should get at it, right? Well, first of all, there's access, and you have to have some sort of access to this. And I think that there's being able to meditate in the first place. So, you have that for you. Then, oh, did, were you going to do something with these chairs?
Oh, you're good. Just put the umbrellas down because it's getting dark. You're
Okay. Okay. In any event, it's a weird shadow on my face there. Okay. So meditation starts. You get calm, you get quiet. You don't really even see where you are. We don't know anything. Stillness, right? Calmness. That place inside yourself that's lit up, that no one can touch, where you're an island to yourself. You've been there. Go out and you reach out. As you reach out, you smell, you hear, see, you have tactile feeling, so on, so forth, the senses. The mind is thinking, that's one of your senses. There's six senses, in case you have not quite run into that yet. Six senses, according to Buddha, and one of them is thinking. He puts that forward as one of the ways you make sense of the world, thinking. That it's not just that it isn't just the mind, that the mind is something that it can include thinking, but isn't necessarily thinking. So he sees things a little bit differently, that Buddha, right? Yeah. So I see also Robert's in. That's great. Appreciate you taking a few minutes to have a seat with me. Talking about graveyard meditation. So pretty interesting. So we've gotten into it. We started the meditation with the beginning, and now we're reaching out with our senses. And if your eyes were closed, you'd want to open your eyes and see the dead bodies or dead body, and smell, hear the stillness, or maybe insects or whatever, the wind. Um, feel, the air, uh, and then engage your thinking about what you see. And you see death, and you have to think now, what is this dead body? It's like me. I mean, this body's made of the same stuff as that body. That body is rotting. This body is going to rot. Where's the life in this body? It's gone. That'll happen to this body too. I know other people. They have bodies. I have loved ones. Let's say a mom, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, best friend, wife, husband, grandparents, whoever. Everybody you've met, they're going to die. Everybody's going to die. Everybody's on their way there. There, there's nobody that's not on their way to being dead. And you look at the dead body and you go, yeah, they're all going to end up there. People that haven't been born yet, they are on their way there. They haven't even been born yet, and they're on their way there. Well, arguably they haven't started on their way there. You get what I'm saying. There's the smell of rottenness. How gross is the body? How gross are the fluids in the body? The processes in the body? The meat that the body's made of? Uh, there's a grossness to the body. It's a disgustingness. Uh, there's the living body, the destructiveness of the living body, that it destroys life in order to survive. There's no way you're not destroying life to live. There's honey and milk, uh, maybe honey, milk. I think there might be one other thing, salt, I guess, minerals that you're not killing in order to get it necessarily. But yeah, everything else you're killing, and you're killing on a daily basis on some level as you go about your day, even if it's a very small scale. Uh, and people are like, "No, I'm a vegan. I don't kill." No, really? Because are you eating vegetables, plants? Yeah, they're getting raised, right? Yeah, well, most of that getting raised is killing insects, killing animals to harvest, killing animals to raise the ground, to to till the soil, to do stuff. And so, no, you're not death free. It's not how it works. If you're going to live, you're going to kill to survive, and not maybe not directly. Are you the one that went out and hacked the head off the cow or whatever? Probably not. Um, if you keep eating beef, are you responsible in part for those cows getting killed because they anticipate the continuing need? Yeah, absolutely. Um, and we're not going to go into vegetarianism, veganism, and all that in detail, but I wanted to go there in part. We're just talking. And so you could smell this rotting body. You can hear like maybe insects, silence of the grave area. You got this thinking of how impermanence is, and it can be easy to get some sort of depression going on. But I urge you to think about it, how there's a cycling of life, that the dead body decomposes and and those nutrients are recycled and more life can happen. And there's only so much stuff on this planet. And if the living suck it all up, there's not going to be any more living. They have to release it. There needs to be more life. More people are going to get born. And they're going to get born because you're going to die. People can't die unless they're born, and people can't be born unless people die. That's uh, that's life. It's life of almost everything on this planet, pretty much. Let's see. I'm a pro-life, organic, vegan, environmentalist, and ecologist who is studying to become a master herbalist. Excellent. Herbalism's awesome. I thought about being a professional herbalist myself, um, and concocting, stuff for people. And I stopped short of doing anything where I could accept money for because um, I talked to the police. Uh, there was some doctor who had found out I had given somebody something that was believed to be good for whatever ailed them, and I didn't make any promises. I didn't give it to them as something that's going to cure or treat a condition necessarily, but it was enough to get the doctor upset, and he sent somebody, a cop, to come talk to me. And this cop came and talked to me and said, "Look, are you giving people stuff to treat illnesses?" I'm like, "No, it doesn't really work like that." Am I giving people things that are historically known to be good for particular ailments? Yes. Am I telling them that this is going to treat their ailment? No. I'm specifically telling them I don't know if there's going to be any effectiveness. I don't know if this would work for you. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you medicine to treat a condition. I'm giving you a thing that's been known to be good for that. Um, I don't know it. I'm not a professional doctor. I can't give you medicine. Not what I'm doing. Um, but, you know, the doctor's like, okay, well, if you were doing that, it would be illegal. And I'm like, okay, well, that seems fair. I mean, I didn't want to, uh, act like I was a doctor. And I certainly tell everybody that suffers from an ailment, you need to go to a doctor. You don't try to take something that somebody got off of a shelf somewhere that's a plant, even though it's been known for something. Don't do that instead of getting medical advice. If you have something wrong with you, you should go see a doctor. But and the doctor was like, or the cop was like pretty stern the whole time, and then he's like, well, you know what? What you're telling me is okay, and it seems to check out. He says, but I find out that you're blah blah blah, telling somebody this is going to treat their ailment or this is going to cure them or whatever. I will be back here and I will arrest you faster than I don't know what he said, but, faster than whatever. And he was like, the more you do this, the more people are going to hear what you're doing, and so you're not going to get away with anything. Son of a gun. This might not be the thing for me. Because you can be convicted of murder because somebody lied. One person lied. Prison, murder. So, I mean, you make all the difference. I'm not going to go to jail or prison because a person lied because they have some perceived vendetta against me, which mentally challenged people can just do. It's a thing. Not judging them for it, just saying. And there's people that are evil thinking that would do such a thing with full control of their themselves, full understanding, and still do it. So, yeah, I could have put myself into that liability. As it is, I do this. Oh, I have haters. You wouldn't believe the haters. There's, I would say, on days that I'm active on social media, my most active, I have two haters a day. Two people that absolutely hate in some way or another, and no matter what I say, no matter how I explain a perceived misunderstanding, whatever, doesn't matter how factual I am, doesn't matter how reasonable I am, hate, 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 hate. Some people over 100 comments in a day. Uh, and I think that indicates something else is going on too. other than just hate, but maybe, maybe not. I think if you're doing anything worthwhile, you have haters. If you think you're doing something worthwhile and you don't have haters, you need to question whether or not you're doing something worthwhile. That's what I think. Because I think every single person I have ever spoken to that was doing something that seemed really worthwhile, haters, haters. Back to the meditation. Um, so we've been through, this body, that body, they're the same, basically. This body, that body, the bodies of my loved ones, the same. I'm going to die. They're going to die. Death. But also birth. Everything connected. And if you're going to do graveyard meditation, I also suggest that you go and meditate on birth also and witness a birth. I didn't say that about death, did I? In the dead body, and I said that about birth. Okay, analyze that as you will. Um, I think part of it is that a living person is connected to it, which makes it even grosser to me. Diana is taking a look. Appreciate you taking a minute to sit with me for a while on Saturday. Graveyard meditation is the topic, and so we've gone a good distance. You might want to, after we're done, go back to the beginning and watch from the beginning. Been through a lot of it so far. We're to the point where we're discussing everybody's going to die, but people are going to be born. That there's birth and there's death and there's a cycle, and things get refreshed, and that's how life has to work. So you don't want to get depressed or anxiety ridden about just the fact that you're doing this graveyard meditation and you're smelling the dead body. You might hear insects, might see insects with the body. And not everybody has easy access to bodies. Not everybody is next to the Ganges in India, where they do a lot of funeral burnings next to the river, where you can find dead body parts uh, pretty commonly in some places. Um, and I wouldn't want to do that even if you like pork, roast pork, because apparently bodies smell a lot like roast pork that have been burned a lot of times. Uh, Unnecessary complication to what you're trying to accomplish. So you've gone to this meditation, you've gone through all the senses, you've really soaked it in, you've really cycled it through your mind. You want to find an equilibrium, a peace with it, with the fact that there's impermanence in the world, the fact that we're not going to live forever. Nobody is. Everybody's on their way. And new people are on their way too. Um, and once you can reach that equilibrium and you've reached out with the senses and you've stretched your senses a little bit, just there's a kind of like a pressure of reaching out with your senses. And like I said before, this is not a meditation for people that are starting meditation, obviously. Uh, not a meditation for people that have problems with anxiety, with fear, with phobias of associated things, depression, any clinically diagnosed conditions that have to do with these things. Obviously, you would want to do this. I don't think. Can't tell people what to do. Um, I know that, but I wanted to caution again because we're talking about being near a dead body and meditating. Uh, you know, not for a beginner. Just going to say that. So you've gone through all of that, and now once again, you want to retreat. You want to start to close off the senses, start to not notice them, back away. You already had that calm, you had that acceptance, but now you're coming back from the senses back inside to this place of light that you have inside you. It's quiet, it's lit up, it's for you, the place nobody else can touch. Nobody can go there. That's you, your place. And if you don't have such a place, I think you do, you just don't know where it is. And that's one of those things. That's experience with meditation again. Everybody can find that place. And I've talked to some people about that place, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" They're just, I want a place like that." Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure you have a place like that. You just haven't been there, or you didn't know you were there at some point. Uh, yeah. So you've gone back in there, and you've hung out in there a while, and you've let everything go. Let all that sensory stuff go. Let all that thinking go. You don't need to think anything necessarily. Some people still think a little bit when they're in that place, and that's okay. Not saying you have to be completely thought stopped or something, but it's important. You've cleansed yourself of the thing you were doing. You've gone back to your natural state or a natural state, and then you slowly start to come out. You come back with your senses. Your hearing, skin, feeling the air on your skin, uh, opening your eyes if you shut them. I mean, some people can meditate just the same with their eyes open as they can closed. That's probably a thing of neurodivergent, different brain functioning people, or with people that have a lot of experience with meditation. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato, right? At least a little bit. I myself, I don't know. I could meditate pretty good with my eyes open. I think better. But there are some meditation that I still close my eyes. And I think the brain takes special cues for your eyes being closed. It does some particular things. And I wouldn't want to be crutched that I couldn't do a meditation because my eyes were open or because my eyes were closed. I'm a big proponent of not being crutched. And some people are like, well, I do drugs to meditate. Like, oh, no, no, man. Uh, Maybe you did some drug to shake things loose that was safe, and that's okay, I guess. But as a practice, no, you're just hurting yourself if you're crutching yourself by something. Um, they have to burn a certain incense, or they have to have their eyes open, or they have to sit in a certain posture, or they have to have special music, or they need to, it has to be guided meditation. Somebody has to be saying it to them as they do it. All these crutches, and you're going to be strong if you're going to be good at something. You're not crutched. You're not going to be crutched. Just saying. Um, Buddhist Bible by Dwight Goddard. I've heard the name Goddard a good decent amount of times, and I can't remember ever thinking. I can't remember ever thinking anything was dangerously misunderstood or it's going to hurt somebody's practice. Um, and I'm sure I've read a number of excerpts from this book, but I haven't read it. So I don't want to make an uneducated opinion about the guy or his work. Um, I would say with any particular Buddhist works, you want to look at it the way Buddha would look at it, right? So you're looking at it like, is it true? Is it factual? Is it productive? Is it something that's received well? Does it matter whether or not it's received well? Um, I mean, when you're saying something, you can think these things, expressing things to people, but also when things come in, we want to be aware of stuff too. Does this upset me? Is this something I particularly like? How is this changing my thinking about it? Because I just saw a thing today. It was political candidates, and they were asking a set of questions. And they were saying, what do you think about this candidate saying this? And they were like, horrible, trashy, whatever. That just shows this person's like that, like some horrible attribute. And then they said, I'm sorry, I got my notes wrong. It's really this other guy, your guy that you support. What do you think about that person saying this? And then they were like, oh, well, it's probably just misunderstood. And there are reasons why that could be okay. And it was really something. And it was, it was like a real cognitive dissonance there. It was strange. It was really strange. Uh, it was like seeing a disorder of some kind. It was really, really something. Back to back, was really something. So yeah, the way you see things can color whether or not you think it's reasonable, whether or not you think it is logical, whether or not even you think it's factual, which, wow, it really, really shouldn't change whether or not you think something is factual, should it? But things that please us, boy, they go down like butter, like sugar helping the medicine go down. Uh, Things that we hate, bitter. Anyway, so you've got that. And there's the birth meditation, which goes along with this, I would say, as a set. In MN10, I don't believe it says that they go together like that when it talks about doing a graveyard meditation. Would it be sufficient? I've had the question before if I just go to a graveyard. It's not the full experience. So maybe a little, maybe yes, which is, maybe you have the opportunity, probably, to have the full experience. And, do you want to be sure you have the full experience or not? And maybe it would be prudent for you to try out the graveyard first and not jump right into this full experience. Wow. Now, once again, not for a beginner, not for the faint of heart, not for people that have a mental disability or phobias or whatever associated. And it's the same thing with a lot of things that are advanced. It's not for everybody. And not just things that are what you'd say are advanced, things that are special interest. So, living the monk life is a special interest thing. And do I think everybody should be a professional archer or a doctor or a lawyer or a surgeon, whatever? No, no, of course I don't. I don't think everybody should be a monk. Nope, just don't think so. Do I think everybody should strive towards having some liberation, having some known, factual, proven liberation in their life as a result of Buddhist teachings? What Buddha had to say, yeah. Limited to Buddha? Absolutely not. Consider myself a Christian as well as a Buddhist. Am I wearing the a particular Christian collar? No. So, I mean, obviously we know which way I lean on the um, dependability and impact on my life of teachings. But there can be a lot of difference uh, between teachings and practice, and there can be a lot of difference between teachings and what you know of a practice. And I did get raised with some Christian stuff. It was Lutheran, and I didn't get raised in Buddhist stuff. So I guess to start with, it was a little bit exotic to me. Buddhist stuff. I didn't really run into Buddhist teachings until I was probably 16, and I went to this bookstore. I had gotten lost, and it sounds a little bit like a movie at this point, but I had gotten lost, and there was a bookstore, and I thought, oh, a bookstore. And I went in, and I was looking at stuff, spiritual stuff. I was looking for something new and true that I hadn't seen before. And there was this, on it, it said it was a prayer book. Uh, Danny is here. Appreciate you stopping by, having to sit with me on Saturday. So anyway, it's like a movie because I find this and there's was a scent to the book, like a floral scent, and I'm like, wow, this is different. And I look in there, and this stuff was just otherworldly in its thinking, and I was like, this is really something. And I brought it up to the front, and I'm like, how much for this book? And he looked at it, and he said, what the heck is that? I go, a book, I guess. And he goes, no, we don't have anything like that here. If that was here, it's not supposed to be here. It's free. You can just take it. I'm like, okay. So if I found that here, I would have thrown it away. I'm like, okay. So I leave with this book, and it just was a fantastic book. And then later, several people begged me to lend it to them. And I said, no, no, no. And finally, I lent it to somebody, and wouldn't you know, within 2 weeks, it is gone. And I never found another copy. I've never been able to even really fully identify the book. It's like it's here and it's gone, and that's it. I had like a year with the book, and that was it, and it's gone, and it's out into the world, and I guess somebody else found it. I guess, uh, but that's like the movie, right? Somebody got lost, and there was a strange merchant, and they found the thing, and then you tried to go back there, and they were gone, and whatever, It's kind of funny. But anyway, I appreciate you guys having to sit with me on Saturday. I went through the graveyard meditation in some pretty good detail. Could be a little more detail. Didn't want to last forever on this video, and I started out at 38%. Phone could die at any moment. I'd probably have run it down a good amount. I appreciate everybody stopping by, having to take up Tracy there. I didn't mention Tracy. Uh, say, oh yeah. Anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by, having a sit with me on Saturday. It's been great. If you didn't get to see the whole thing, maybe go back to the beginning, take a look, see what you missed. If you're seeing this on some other platform, I appreciate you taking a look. Probably on Facebook, probably on YouTube, maybe on TikTok, maybe somewhere else. Don't know. You can always promote the stuff by clicking like or whatever, doing a follow or a friend or whatever. There's the uh, application. It's not really for just everybody, but what the heck. Even if you're not trying to be a monk, there's an Ask Buddha application in the Android store for free. Check it out. It's got a daily Buddha quotes, meditation timer. You can ask questions, even though you're not a monk. Each time you go in, it accumulates these coins, and you use the coins to ask questions, and you get your own video answer back. So with citations, there's probably some of sources, not just giving out opinions here, but giving sources within the teachings of Buddha. And appreciate you very much. I hope the teachings of Buddha will bless you, and it is a great day to be alive.